So I was playing 5, 10, 20 at Chinook Winds, which is a casino on the Oregon coast. There's a tournament series going on. Got another table talk coming up with a hand from the tournament. But this was the biggest game there, the 5, 10, 20 game, although it had a 2K cap, so it wasn't like, a Hustler Casino Live 5, 10, 20 game. It was
you're still
more of a
100
5, 10
deep.
game. Yeah. More of a 5, 10 game that became a 5, 10, 20 game.
As many do, honestly.
And it was a tough game. There was like one spot at the table. Everybody else was either a pro or very good, and it was not the best game to be in.
Why are we even playing this game is a question, but that's a second question for another day.
Because why not? It's the highest stakes in the room. Let's have a little fun. I'm already here. I'm already sitting.
Fair enough.
And here I am for this hand, where the main opponent in the hand is a known entity to people who have watched our older stuff. It's Stuart from Poker Time, if you guys remember Poker Time. Stuart, who's a pro. He's a good player.
Yeah.
He opens the button. I am in the 20. He opens to 60 on the button, or 65. It doesn't really matter. It's either 60 or 65.
How deep are we in this hand?
Stuart is, that's a good question. You're a good table talk host. Thanks for asking.
I work when I can.
Stuart has 3K. He covers me. There's a third player in the hand who also covers me with about 3K.
How much do you have, right?
I have like 2150.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care how much Stuart has. I just need to know the effective stack, bro. Come on. Although the other player, that's why you did it, right? Because there's another player in the hand. All right. Well, I didn't know that.
Now you do.
Okay.
Table talk's about learning, and congratulations, you're learning.
And growing. Okay. Go on.
So he opens to 60. Let's call it 60.
Okay.
This other player who's in the big blind, the $10 big blind, has been, I've never played with him before, but he's been 3-betting a fair amount. He's like an active player. He seems to at least know what the kids are supposed to do pre-flop in poker. Yeah. I don't know enough about him to know his overall chops, but he's like 3-betting a lot. Yeah, he makes it 250. He makes it 250 out of the big blind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Reasonable size.
I am in the $20 with Ace King of Spades.
Hey,
and I've got 2150.
Yeah.
Course of action. What are we doing?
Obviously, we're raising. 100% of the time, we're raising.
Well, let's consider that. Is there any world where calling makes sense here?
I don't think so. Well, let's talk about it for a second. Calling sets up a lot of weird things. We're bringing Stuart in a lot more of the time by calling.
Yes.
Right. Now we're going to play 3-handed instead of heads up. This hand really likes to play heads up, much more so. This hand also wants to see all 5 cards. Raising gives us a better chance to see all 5 cards if we end up getting in a, instead of just seeing the flop and having to fold, we often get to see all 5 cards when we raise. Because when people don't fold, we're now almost always committed to the hand, right? I like being committed to this hand. I don't think we can get it in against worse. Like, I don't think Ace Queen's going to lose their mind unless someone really is feeling themselves. But we are going to fold out almost everything, which is not a bad thing. We've got key blockers, and we can survive an all-in here, right? We got enough hand that getting it all in is not the end of the world, right? Where we got our 100 and some X blinds deep, it's fine with these positions and our position to get it all in. So that's the argument for raising. What's the argument for calling?
I guess the argument would be that it might incentivize Stuart to try to isolate or like take hands like Ace Queen, and maybe we can actually get more money out of Ace Queen in that spot. Like, I don't know if that's really a great idea. It's not what I did, but it
seems unlikely.
I wanted to explore it.
When you flat, what's your range when you just call?
I don't know.
You're non-awesome range. You're non-top premium range. There aren't that many hands there, right? They're all really
4 or
good.
5 of diamonds, obviously. No, I'm kidding.
You might have king queen suited, I guess. I don't think you do, but like in theory, if I was sitting in Stuart's, I might say king queen suited 2 10s, 2 9s. It's hard. Ace queen sometimes, like it's hard to come up with anything you really have.
I mean, if I'm flatting with Ace King, I should also have some super premiums that I flat with to induce further action as well.
But I know enough about you and the way you play that it's the opposite for you. You're the guy who likes to raise and not call. So if you're going to be raising with king queen suited and ace queen, you definitely should also be raising with ace king, right?
I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those other hands in this spot.
Okay.
But anyway, here we are.
I think it's pretty clear. Come play with us on Clubs Poker. They have tournaments, they have ring games, and a 100% bonus if you use the code POKERGUYS or use our link in the description.
It is a lot of fun on clubs. I have been playing on clubs, and I have been genuinely impressed by their software. They have great games all the time, and redemptions go direct to your bank account. There's no crypto involved, none of that BS. It's a US-based company. Come play with us on clubs. We'll see you there. So what sizing are you using?
I think we could make it. We don't have to lose our minds, but we don't want to price the guy in. We're not really worried about Stewart either way. If Stewart's coming in the hand, it's to be all in anyway, so it's all the same. So it's just against the big blind. Some version of, I guess we go a little less than 3x is fine. I guess 700 is the first thing that comes to mind because we have position. We're basically at a 1-to-1 stack to pot anyway at this point. We're essentially moving in on most flops, and we're declaring ourselves. It's hard for him to just call and put it a third of our stack. Like he's generally either moving in or folding, which is fine. I think 700 is the number. What did you do?
I went even smaller. I went 600 because of SPR. I figured 600 and 700 are the same to Stewart, right? It's not really going to make a difference to him.
No doubt.
And with the other guy, all I've seen is that his 3-bet percentage is the highest at the table. So like that indicates to me that maybe he's got some wiggle to his waggle. I want to give him a little bit of a shot to jam with hands that he maybe is dominated with.
Okay.
So
all right.
Feel like he has more fold equity type of thing.
I agree. 600 definitely incurs more light 5-bets. If there are any there, it incurs more of them for sure.
So the plan is to get
you also do incentivize a call a lot more of the time by making it 600.
Which is, it's not the worst thing in the world. I have ace king suited in position. It's
true.
It's okay.
True. Yep.
It's not ideal, but it's okay.
It's not the end of the world.
But my hope and my plan with this sizing is to get it all in against the big blind.
Right.
And hope that I win because, it's not always a guarantee, obviously, with ace king.
Of course.
But then Stewart goes into the tank. And now we're a little worried. If Stewart rejams, what does that mean? Because that's what happens. Stewart jams 3K effective because he's effective with the other guy.
Right.
The other guy quickly folds. What are we thinking about this spot?
I mean, look, Stewart's got a strong range here for sure, but I don't think there's a fold here for us with the hand this good. I think it's still a pretty clear call.
Do we think Stewart's doing this with jacks?
I don't know. Do I think he's doing it with queens? Yes. Do I think he's doing it with the same hand? Yes. Do I think he's doing it with better hands? Yes. Is he doing it with jacks? Is he doing it with ace queen? It's hard to believe he's doing it with ace queen when he jams there. I'll say that. Really hard to believe that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does with jacks. Jacks is a weird spot. It's button versus big blind and bigger blind, right? So it's if we were in earlier positions, I would give him a slightly weaker range. I'm sorry, a slightly stronger range, but you have to weaken his range at least a little bit here, especially when he understands the dynamic. He's really good. He's paying attention. He knows the big blind is raising a lot. He knows you're seeing that. He knows you're the kind of guy who might have some light 4-bets, by the way. He's seen you do it. I know he's seen you do it, right?
Yeah.
So with all that in mind, I don't know if you can just fold jacks against two guys who could be light. And if he just gets it in against you, by the way, unless the kid in the big blind has kings or aces, he's folding. Right? If he's folding queens, probably when you 4-bet and Stewart 5-bets, queens is a really tough spot. Maybe he's not folding queens, but he might fold queens. Queens is a pretty reasonable fold there.
Yeah. It would just be random luck if that guy had a hand like that. I think Stewart and I are both assuming this guy is light in this spot.
So that's why I think Stewart, at least in theory, can have jacks. I don't know if in practicality, it's a little hard to know because he is putting 3K on the line here. Because him and the other guy are, the effective stacks with each other is so much more. It's an extra 50 blinds. Look, Stewart's got a strong range, but this was not a bluff when we 4-bet.
Right, but it was not necessarily hoping for Stewart to jam. It was we're kind of thinking that Stewart's very unlikely to continue in this hand, right? When he just opens the button to 60.
I agree. But look, if they both jam, we're in a really weird spot.
I think that's an easy fold.
With just Stewart jamming, look, we've put in 30% of our stack almost, 28% of our stack. We have ace king suited. There's dead money. There's a bunch of dead money in there. It's rare that we're getting a terrible, he's got to have aces or kings, otherwise we're fine. We block aces and kings. It just seems like a mistake to fold to me. I don't see how we can fold this hand. It's just, I don't love it. I think we're screwed a lot. But I think we're also flipping sometime, a bunch. I shouldn't even say sometimes. A bunch we're flipping against queens and probably jacks. I don't think he has ace five suited almost ever. Almost
No, I don't
ever a
think so.
hand like that. But I feel like it is just too tight to fold ace king suited here with this configuration. Again, in earlier positions, if everyone was in early positions, if Stuart was under the gun, this guy was like +2 and we decided to 4-bet our ace king suited and then we get this action, you could start to talk me into a fold, but I don't see how we can do it from button, light big blind, 3-bet type guy and then us with our own rep of being a pre-flop. A little bit of a pre-flop maniac, at least.
I'm not really a pre-flop maniac, and Stuart definitely does not perceive me as a pre-flop maniac.
Okay, fine. But he knows that you're not going to flat there, right? So almost ever, with almost any part of your range, right? He knows that. So if you have a hand you might consider going with. Anyway, I don't see how you can fold. I wouldn't fold.
I did.
I'd be
folded.
I would
it went
sigh.
away. I folded. I folded. It was gone. Yeah.
You did?
And yeah.
So did we find out what he had?
Well, he told me what he had. I don't know if he was telling the truth.
Did he say he had the Rockets or what?
He had ace king, according to him, also. So, yeah, I thought that was actually a really close spot, a lot closer than you thought. Another pro at the table who I respect a lot approached me about the hand after when we were cashing out and asked me what I had. And he's like, yeah, I probably, like, it made me feel good because he's like, yeah, I probably fold too. I think it's a king's plus spot for me. So that made me feel a little bit better that the other guy thought that too.
I just don't know. I just don't like the idea of putting in so much of our own stack and folding a hand that good. You know, like
no, I get it, but it's not the configuration that you expect, right? It's almost never the initial opener who you end up clashing with in that spot.
Agreed.
Like so,
that is
I think
true.
It's okay to pivot in spots like that. And obviously, Stuart ace king. I don't know if he has jacks. That's
I don't
questionable.
know either. If he has ace king, he might have jacks.
He probably has queens. I kind of put his range at queens plus, and I felt like with the dead money, I suppose it's like about right to call.
I would think
against that range.
If it's queens plus, I would guess it's probably you're making a little bit of money by calling if it's queens plus.
Right.
Probably because of the blockers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If he ever has jacks, it's probably clearly plus EV. And if he ever has anything else in the world, if he ever has a bluff, and I don't know that he can have any bluff, there may be zero bluffs there. But if he can ever have a bluff at all, now suddenly you're printing to call, right?
Yeah. I don't know. If like Stuart and I have played a lot and we never really clash like this, like it's rare. So it's interesting to like be in a spot like this and not have a lot of iterations and not really expect a lot of future iterations of this exact scenario.
Sure.
So it's hard to know like which button to click there. But
yeah. I'm not saying it's a fun spot at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Anyway, I lost $600 there. Good for Stuart. He made 600. He made, 850 without having to lift a finger.
I know. And what is usually a chop. So that's a good deal for him.
Yeah. Congratulations, Stuart.
Tired of being tired of being sick. In my head 24/7, how I'm supposed to pay the rent. Mr. Practice, I don't play. Friday nights we on the bench. Trying to come up with a play. If it don't work, then hit a lick. 12 knocking at my door. Praying ain't tell. I'm studying her word prayer. Baby excel, got away with way too much. Should've got expelled, but the school saw my potential. Smart kid trying to